So, hello everyone, and welcome back to STW Sports. I'm host Samuel Wright, joined by Josh Bunting. Well, Josh, another eventful weekend. The Premier League, of course, returned last week, and crowds back's fantastic. But what did you make of this weekend in the Prem? Obviously, still one more game to go at the time of recording, West Ham Leicester. But what have you made of the weekend as a whole?
Yeah, obviously it's a very good weekend. A lot of goals, especially at the Etihad, Manchester City against Norwich. But look, it's just amazing to see crowds back and to see some amazing goals. One thing that I've really enjoyed about this season, obviously apart from the fans, is the 3 p.m. kickoffs. I just last season, like obviously, I loved watching all the games. It was great, but I don't know, the 3 p.m. kickoff, there's something a little bit more special about that. So I'm obviously very, very happy to see them back.
Yeah, I mean, the first game, of course, was the afternoon kickoff between Liverpool and Burnley. A comfortable 2-0 win for Liverpool. Burnley have got a good recent record at Anfield, so that game could have been a bit tricky. As for Burnley, though, this season, do you think there will be in a relegation battle under Sean Dyche, or do you think they'll be okay?
It's a strange one with Burnley because this is the first season in quite a few that I think there will be in a relegation battle. I think everyone else has improved and Burnley haven't. They've kept the same squad. They haven't brought anybody new in. So apart from a goalkeeper in Wayne Hennessy, so I think in the Premier League, especially, you always need to freshen your squad up. You always need to bring new players in, and Burnley, for money reasons or just comfortable with their squad, they haven't done that. Obviously, they're linked with Lyon's Maxwell Cornet, which would be a great signing if that does come off. But I just have a bad feeling about Burnley this year. But they always seem to surprise you. I mean, Sean Dyche is a miracle worker. Like, the job that he's done at that club is absolutely incredible. And I thought actually on Saturday against Liverpool, they were good. Uh, I thought Liverpool were obviously going to win the game, but I thought Burnley put in a good performance. I thought Dwight McNeil was very bright as well, carrying the ball forward, and they had chances in the game as well. They actually did create a few chances. So if I was a Burnley fan, obviously that would be a positive. But against Brighton, they went ahead and should. They're the games that you need to win. They weren't judged on Saturday's game away to Liverpool. They'll be judged on like the first home game of the season, home to Brighton, the game that they really should be winning at home. So I thought there was positives from Saturday there, definitely. I think they would Vidra is a big loss. I thought he ended last season very well. I'm not sure Barnes or Rodriguez work with Chris Wood really anymore. I think Chris Wood he's the nailed down number 9. I think Vidra alongside him would benefit Burnley much more, but I think they definitely need a few more signings, or this could be the season that they actually could drop back down into the Championship.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Liverpool. I was going to ask as well about the top four this season. Are you expecting it to be the most people's predicted Liverpool, Chelsea, Manchester United, Manchester City in any order? Really, is that what you are expecting? Because those four teams early on,
Yeah,
Man United yesterday, okay, weren't at their best, but those teams look quite strong at the moment. You can only expect that's going to be the top four.
yeah, look, absolutely, I agree with that. And my order, so like sort of would be, I still think Manchester City are the team to beat. Although Chelsea are looking good as well, and I think Lukaku's a massive signing. So at the minute, for me, it'll be Manchester City or Chelsea for the title. I think Manchester United will come good. I think Varane, Sancho will make a big improvement to the squad. Absolutely. Um, Liverpool, Liverpool could be dark horses. You never know, but I just think with their lack of signings as well, I still think they need a number 9. I still think they definitely need another striker. But Liverpool are Liverpool. They've got the quality. Salah, Mane, and Van Dijk will make a huge difference. You know, he's back. So defensively, if they keep Matip alongside him fit, Liverpool will challenge as well. I honestly think we're in for the best Premier League in many years this season. I really do. But right now, I still think Manchester City are the team to beat in this league. And if they get Harry Kane, well, then there you go. I think they'll definitely go on to win it.
Yeah, definitely. Harry Kane would be pretty much difference maker, and maybe they are lacking that big number 9 right now. But one team I do want to talk about is Arsenal. I mean, 2 defeats out of 2, no goals scored. It's worrying times for the Gunners right now. Do you think there's any way back for Mikel Arteta, or do you think this is, nearing the end for him?
This is a big week. Carabao Cup against West Brom. If they lose that, and I fully expect Arsenal to lose on Saturday at lunchtime against Manchester City, it could be a big, big damaging week. Obviously, yesterday, Arsenal have had COVID in the camp, which doesn't help. But the performance against Brentford and Chelsea were both inept. It wasn't like they had loads of chances and they were unlucky. They were just generally very poor. And Chelsea, I don't think, got out of fourth gear yesterday. They just strolled it, and they scored 2 goals inside the first half hour, and that was it. Even the first one with Lukaku, you felt Chelsea could go on and could get 3 or 4 here. Chelsea were just so comfortable in that game, and I think obviously Arsenal haven't had their best team out yet. Aubameyang, Odegaard, they still Lacazette. They still need to come back in, but it's a big, big season, and I just see nothing changing. With Arsenal, it's the exact same as last season, and the worrying thing is the no goals. But even last season, they weren't scoring many goals, so I think that's a big, big concern. Obviously in football, I'm going to make a bold prediction. I don't think Arteta will see out this season. I really don't.
Yeah, no, that's understandable, especially right now. I mean, with the way things are going, they lost to Man City, and then as Norwich after the international break has become a big game for Arsenal if they do lose that. But finally in the Premier League, you got a score prediction for the next game between West Ham and Leicester. Promises to be a very interesting one.
Yeah, it's probably one of the best games of the weekend, or of the Premier League round. Do you know what? Leicester haven't been great against West Ham in recent seasons. I sort of fancy West Ham to win. It'll be a really, really good game, though. I think certainly be goals in it. I'm going to go 2-1 for West Ham. I'm going to go 2-1 West Ham. I would actually like Leicester to win, to be honest, because like Brendan Rodgers, I like his philosophy. I like how Leicester play as well. It's really one of my favourite teams to watch. But I just feel the Hammers will win it tonight. I'm going to go 2-1 West Ham.
That's fair. Moving into the Championship, obviously right now it's looking like no team's got maximum points, but Fulham and West Brom. You can only imagine they're looking very strong for that league right now. And, they're 2 teams that you really can see doing what Norwich and Watford did last year and bouncing straight back at the first attempt.
Yeah, Fulham were sort of the ones I always thought when they went down last season that they would go straight back up if they kept the squad. I mean, 2-0 victory over Hull at the weekend, and they're scoring goals at the minute. Mitrovic. When you have Mitrovic in the Championship, you've always got that chance. It's just an incredible striker for that division. But if Fulham go back up and they keep him, then he's done it before. Like, he was brilliant in the Championship the season before last, and last season didn't do much in the Premier League. So it's just that adaptation from the Championship to the Premier League. If they do go back up, he really needs to show it back in the Premier League. But for the Championship, he's fantastic. He's always got a goal in him. And Fulham do have a 30-goal striker there, which not many teams in the division do have guaranteed. I think there is guaranteed goals in there. I think Marco Silva, I just like his style as well. It's patient build-up play and then move the ball quickly. So I think for the Championship with their squad, obviously Harry Wilson as well, I'm super signing. He'll give them so much in terms of goals and assists as well. So Fulham have the squad. As for West Brom, again, really like the manager. Done brilliantly at Barnsley last year. Alex Mowat has turned out to be a shrewd signing, which I thought he would be because his experience in the Championship. I mean, his goal against Blackburn on Saturday was a stunning strike, and West Brom fans can certainly see more of that as the season goes on. And Callum Robinson for the Championship is another very, very good Championship player. So they've both got very good Championship squads, and they've got the money, they've got the funds to do it. And many other Championship clubs can't even, compete with the money of those 2 clubs. So with their business, you expect them to go straight back up at the first time of asking, and I really do. I think Fulham will win the league. Obviously, not comfortably. You can't say comfortably because the Championship is never comfortable. It's always tight. But I just think those two will pull away from the others towards the end of the season. And yeah, definitely they should go back up.
And three teams from the Midlands in the Championship have been catching people's eye. Stoke City scored a fantastic goal to win the game against Forest. Birmingham City scored 5 goals for the first time in well over a decade. And Coventry City are really enjoying life back at the Ricoh Arena. Are these three teams who you can see as dark horses this season?
I think it's too early to say dark horses. I think, look, we're only 3 weeks into the season. So I think, the season will balance itself out. I think after 10 games, that's when you should really judge teams. But I do think Birmingham City will have a good season. I really like Lee Bowyer as a manager. I think he's a top coach. I really like their business. I really like who they've brought in. Dion Sanderson, I think I'm looking forward to when he's fully fit, because I think he's a fantastic defender. Spent time on loan at Sunderland last year, and he got the young player of the season. He was fantastic. So I think that's a big signing. And obviously, like you say, they scored 5 against Luton the weekend, so they've clearly got goals in there as well. As for Stoke, this is a big season for them. They need to be in the playoffs at the end of the season at least. This is because they've struggled in the Championship, but I think Michael O'Neill now has the squad that he wants. I've actually been impressed with Sam Surridge. I'm impressed by how he started off. I think he's a good player, but I thought he was just maybe not clinical enough, but he has scored a few goals for them, and he started his Stoke career very well. It's just maintaining that and keeping that up. And his hold-up play is very good as well. So I think that's proved to be a good transfer so far. Just needs to be consistent and keep that level up. So Stoke need to finish in top 6 this year. The pressure's all on them. There's no more Michael O'Neill reshaping the squad, because this is his squad now. He's been there for a couple of seasons. This season should be the shape that he wants. And this is a season that Stoke need to be successful. As for Coventry, been surprised by Coventry. I thought they would stay up fine. Always thought mid-table. But the way they've started the season is fantastic. And I really like the mould of football that Mark Robbins has them playing. I mean, it's attractive, it's quick. And obviously, they're scoring plenty of late goals as well. So, scored a last-minute winner against Blackpool. Scored a last-minute winner against Reading at the weekend. So, they've got that character and mentality that, they'll keep fighting until the very end. So I think the Ricoh Arena is massive for them as well. That's their spiritual home. That's where they play, and the fans from Coventry right back behind them. So it's all positive vibes at Coventry at the minute. And for Coventry, they don't have the best squad in the league. They're not like a Fulham. They're not like a West Brom. They don't have these technical players. They've got hard-working players who want to play for that club. And that means so much to them, and that's why they get results, because they want it more than the other team. They show hunger and desire, and yeah, I think they're in for a good season the way it started, certainly.
At the other end of the table, though, Nottingham Forest, 0 points so far. You can only assume that the end is near, and for Chris Hughton, who was usually a great Championship manager, but for some reason things just haven't clicked for him there so far, and I think the end's very much near for him right now.
Yeah, I mean, things need to improve, definitely. I mean, like you say, they've got no points. I think James Garner was a shrewd signing on loan from Manchester United. I think that could sort of be that signing. And even though he's such a young player and there will be pressure on him, I sort of think he's that type of player that can sort of give them that boost and that jolt, because he is creative. Spent the second half of last season there and was fantastic. Personally, I think he should have gone out on loan in the Premier League. To a Brighton or someone like that, because I do think he has that amount of quality that he can do that. But Forest, yeah, look, I mean, it's obvious that they need to pick up points sooner rather than later, and it's a strange one because Forest they've got a good team. They've got goal scorers in there, Lyle Taylor, Lewis Graben. They've got players there that will get goals. But I don't know, for one reason or another, it just hasn't happened. And with Forest, they're not shy of pulling the trigger on managers. So, yep, a few more negative results. And, yeah, I think they'll be searching for a new manager, 100%.
Yep, League One, of course. You've been a Sunderland fan yourself, but the top two right now are two clubs who were relegated last season: Sheffield Wednesday and Wycombe Wanderers. Sheffield Wednesday look a completely different club right now. Obviously, got relegated last season. Bit of a, they had about 4 managers, very much negative, but Darren Moore's gone in, and I think so far this season things looking good, not letting a goal yet. And Wycombe Wanderers are probably the best ever team to go down in terms of momentum, because they went down with a lot of momentum. Positive starts for them. What have you made of that?
Sheffield Wednesday had a really good window for me, especially for a League One team. They were one of the teams that we were sitting in the middle of July thinking this could either go one way, they could be very, very good, or they could be in for another relegation slog. It's proven that I just think their business sort of near the very, very beginning of the season was excellent. Billy Peacock Farrell, first goalkeeper in Sheffield Wednesday's history to keep 5 consecutive clean sheets, I believe. Northern Ireland International. I think obviously saved a penalty at the weekend against Rotherham. So I think that was a top side, and I thought Billy Peacock Farrell was destined for the Championship at least. But for him to go to League One to get game time says a lot about him as well. That he just wants to play football. I think he's made a huge difference. I like Florian Kamberi as well. He scored his first goal at the weekend, and I think Kamberi is one of those players. He had a really good time at Hibs, Hibernian in Scotland. He's been the Rangers and he's been the Aberdeen. They didn't really work out, but I think for League One football, I think Kamberi is a perfect sort of player because he's so strong and he's intelligent. And I think in League One, if you have an intelligent striker with their movement, they'll get plenty of goals, because the defenders, no disrespect, they're slower to think than in the Premier League and in the Championship. So Kamberi's played at the top level of Scottish football, and I just think that he knows what to do, and I think there's plenty more to come from him as well. And when you have a midfielder like Barry Bannon pulling the strings in League One, well, yeah, I mean, you're destined to be good, because he's a sensational player. I actually thought somebody in the summer from the Championship would have made a bid, but for a play, he stayed in League One, and he's showing his class, because he gets more time on the ball, and his vision has always been good. And I think this is a big reason why he's just got that knack and that ability to dictate games. As for Wycombe Wanderers, like you said, had a great end of the season last season despite being relegated. It's just unfortunately for them that their good run started too late. And obviously they got beat by, I think it was Cardiff. I think that was the real dent in their season last season. It was at Cardiff, and I think Luton beat them. I think that was the one that you thought, okay, they're not going to do enough. But the signing of Sam Vokes, I mean, what a signing for League One. Again, plenty of experience, good in the air, strong, holds the ball up well, scored at the weekend. So he'll be playing with confidence now. And I've liked how Gareth Ainsworth has trusted young players. He's brought in young players as well, young technical players who are going to make a name for themselves in this league. Nice little technical players. So Wycombe are going to be ones to watch. They actually come to Sunderland this Saturday. So that'll be a very interesting game. So yeah, like those two right now are certainly the teams that have caught my eye. But again, like I say, it's very early. I still fully expect Ipswich Town to be up there at the end of the season. I actually expect Ipswich to go and win the league. If they don't, well, then I'd be very surprised. I think their summer was outstanding. I mean, it's 16 new signings that they brought in, and that can't click inside a few weeks. It just doesn't happen because everybody's sort of fresh. It's a whole new team. So I still fully think Ipswich will be up there at the end of the season. MK Dons, like we discussed on this podcast before, really like their summer, but again, losing the manager, so new style of play and stuff. And then obviously Sunderland as well. I mean, I'm being content with how Sunderland have started the season. 9 points from a possible 12. Obviously lost to Burton Albion, but in football, sometimes it just doesn't go in. And Sunderland were dominated Burton Albion that night, but just couldn't find the back of the net. But look, really, really satisfied with the start of the season. League One's going to be crazy this year. There were 3 Wigan as well. They look good despite losing against Sunderland. So obviously James McLean's been brought in. James McLean's played in the Premier League. He's played in the Championship, and the last time he was in League One, he's obviously going back to Wigan for a second spell. And he's got goals in him as well. He scored on his debut against Charlton at the weekend, and you're thinking they've got quality too. So this, for me, League One in England, out of the English leagues, has been the best league right now. It's just been crazy. It seems fascinating, and Accrington Stanley sitting around up in there as well. I mean, it's just bonkers, the whole league. It's just crazy. But yeah, Sheffield Wednesday, you have to say, haven't conceded a goal yet, so they've certainly been the most impressive so far.
Yep, going to have a look into League Two for a moment now. Forest Green Rovers, the team in there that really are catching the eye. 4 wins out of 4. Also, Bradford City, a thriller, 5-goal thriller in Mansfield, which I was at. I privileged of being at the weekend. Fantastic result for them as well. What have you made of League Two so far this season?
I mean, like you say, Forest Green. I mean, can't get any better than Forest Green right now. 6-3 winners on Saturday against Crawley in an absolutely outstanding game of football. But Forest Green, again, they've just got momentum, and that's sort of what you need in those leagues. You need momentum, and Forest Green have got that right now. I mean, they were disappointed in the playoffs semi-finals or in the playoffs last year. So they've gone for the summer. They've regrouped, they've refreshed, and I mean, they've started the season perfectly. As for Bradford City, I mean, like you say, Samuel, you were there the weekend, so you'll know more than me, but I thought that was a very, very impressive result because Mansfield have started the season well. Nigel Clough, I think he's a very, very good manager. Just in terms of his organisation of teams, they're quite hard to break down, but I mean, Andy Cook, he seems to be firing on all cylinders for Bradford at the minute. And Callum Cook as well. So, Bradford have got goal scorers in their team, and obviously under Derek Adams, he's been there, he's done it before. He done it last season with Morecambe. He just has this know-how of getting results in League Two. He's a fantastic manager. Obviously Forest Green and Bradford have been, for me, the most impressive teams so far. Been quite disappointed with Salford. I thought Salford would sort of be on that verge of the top 2 early season. But again, like we always say, it's too early in the season to judge. But Salford haven't won a game yet, which for what they want to do and the level that they want to be at is pretty unacceptable, even this early in the season. So, I mean, League Two is crazy because it changes every week. But if you get a good run in League Two and you have that momentum, well, then you're usually up there, which Forest Green will be, and I suspect Bradford City will be as well. But what impressed me with the Bradford result most of the weekend is just the character that's shown to go and win that game. Because, like I say, I think Mansfield have started the season very well. They've been hard to beat. They've been hard to break down. They've turned the ball over really quickly in the middle of the park. So Bradford just put in a really professional performance on Saturday to go and win that. And I mean, like I say, Derek Adams got game management was spot on. So yeah, I mean, obviously extremely impressed with those 2 teams in Forest Green and Bradford.
Yeah, bottom end of the table though in League Two, Oldham Athletic, 4 defeats out of 4. Is it a very worrying time right now for Oldham in your opinion?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was a pitch invasion at the weekend about the owner, and for me, unless that club get bought over and a new owner comes in, well then Oldham are in trouble because it's the same scenario with Oldham every year. They just flatter deceive every season, and I feel sorry for the fans because they're a good club. I've had the pleasure of being there a few times. But the new owner, it's just not going to move forward. He sacks managers and just doesn't give anybody time to really bed in. And it's just not a good situation at the club. And I would be very, very worried about them. And obviously Walsall down there with 1 point as well. I don't think Walsall will stay there for long because a bit like Ipswich, I think they had a really good summer. I thought they brought in a few very good players for League Two standard, and I actually think Walsall will end up in and around the playoffs. I really do. I think that the squad they have and who they brought in over the summer was very impressive. It's been a hard start for Matthew Taylor as a manager, but again, it's a new scenario for him. He managed Tottenham Hotspur under 18s last year. So from Tottenham Hotspur under 18s or 23s, I can't remember, it was either 18s or 23s, but it's Tottenham's youth teams, to go into a senior role with Walsall in League Two. It takes time for him to really adapt to that as well. And I just hope that Walsall don't push the panic button because I really like that type of manager. He's a young manager who's coming through, and I just hope that he gets more time. But I don't think that Walsall will spend too long down there. But yeah, of course, you got to fear for Oldham because if the fans are protesting in August and the season's only kicked off in August, well then, yeah, it doesn't really bode well for the rest of the season.
So from all four leagues, if you can, give me a team of the week, please, from Premier League, Championship, League 1 and 2.
Okay, so in each four leagues?
Yeah, in each four, please, yeah.
Okay, so the Premier League, I was going to say Aston Villa. Obviously, with the Newcastle result, I think that they really needed that, and it was a great performance. But I'm going to go for Chelsea. Chelsea, Pip, Aston Villa for me because I thought I thought Chelsea against Arsenal just strolled it. They didn't look at a fourth gear, like I said to you. I mean, they've just got such a good ability of defending under Thomas Tuchel, and obviously Lukaku. I mean, there's a goal scorer there, and I just thought they were fantastic. I really did. They weren't trouble. Arsenal did have a few chances in the second half, of course, but really Chelsea just strolled the game. So they'll be my Premier League team of the week. Championship. This is a hard one. I'm going to go Huddersfield Town, because obviously Sheffield United, they've had a really, really poor start to the season. They haven't won a game yet. But Huddersfield, they conceded in the 89th minute, and then they went to win it in out of time. So to go for that character and that mentality, to go and do that, yeah, Huddersfield would be my championship team of the week. League One, Wigan for this. To go to Charlton. Obviously Charlton haven't had a good start to the season themselves, but I always find the Valley is a very, very difficult place to go. So to go there and obviously get the result there, a positive result. Yeah, Wigan for me. James McLean on his debut with the second goal. I just thought Wigan looked sharp out of the highlights that I've seen. Looked very quick, moving the ball very, very well, playing through the thirds, and Charlton couldn't really cope with them sometimes going forward. And as for League Two, I mean, I think you're going to have to go Forest Green. Even though they conceded 3, scored 6, they're flying like we've already discussed. So yeah, so Premier League Chelsea, Championship Huddersfield, League One Wigan, and League Two Forest Green Rovers.
Yep, fantastic. Well, that's all we've got time for anyway, Josh. Thank you very much for joining me on this football weekend review. Just one last word about the scenes in France yesterday. I don't know if you've heard about the scenes in France.
Oh, watched the match.
But yeah, just a word on that, please. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, but this is the second Marseille game this season that's been suspended. Obviously, last night technically got abandoned. But the thing is that frustrates me as well. If that was in England, we wouldn't hear the end of it, and English fans would be called thugs and hooligans and all sorts of things. In France, just sort of bypasses and doesn't really, just sort of there. But what Dimitri Payet did, I'm not defending that someone throwing a bottle at him because, look, it's unacceptable. But for Dimitri Payet to pick up a bottle and throw it in back to the fans where there's ultras, it's just lunacy. For a professional footballer, all right, if I was a professional footballer and I got a bottle thrown at me, would I be happy? Of course I wouldn't. But I don't think I'd throw it back in the crowd because there's kids in the crowd and you don't know. You just don't know what happens. And I think he'll be punished for it. Of course, he got the bottle thrown at him, but just be professional and leave it. And that's it. But it was unacceptable, I mean, ultras are ultras, but I don't think that many fans that went on the pitch can be classified as ultras. I just think they were there to be seen, They weren't there for the football, they were there for a fight. And look, I don't know what's going to happen, but both clubs should be punished. And I don't think a fine's enough because those clubs can have pocket money to pay that type of money for fines. I think something more serious needs to be done. I don't think we'll be seeing fans in Nice for quite a few weeks, to be honest. And that's quite unfortunate for the other fans who were well behaved. They missed out in football for over a year. And we're in France, like I've said, the game Marseille were playing a few weeks ago. I watched it on BT Sport. Can't quite remember who it was against. It was a late kickoff. I think it could have been. I'm not sure actually, but there was coins being thrown on the pitch, and you're thinking, Ligue 1 is 3 weeks into the season, and we've had a coin throwing incident which has had a match suspended, and we've had a bottle throwing incident that has had a match technically abandoned. So, for fans missing out in football for over a year, why is there this instinct of going back into the stadium and just ruin it for everybody else? I think it's just unacceptable.
Yeah, no, definitely agree with that. Yeah, it's a real shame to see, but hopefully the situation does sort itself out. But that is all we've got time for, Josh. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, thank you, Samuel. I appreciate it.